It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
Hello, you reached Andy. I'm sorry I can't come to the phone right now. Leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept messages at this time.
Oh my gosh. His mailbox is full. That's even better. I mean, or more tragic and catastrophic that his wife has been trying to get a hold of him and left 40 messages because he's dead on the side of the road.
Whenever this happens, and it's you guys in particular, I cannot help but transplant your faces into scenes from Breaking Bad in my head. Like there is Andy right now is dressed as Walter White and he's in a shipping container full of money right now, and that, nobody can get him because everyone wants that sweet blue meth. And
oh my goodness.
Okay. Well, if he joins in, that'll be great. But right now, it's you and me.
Okay.
How's your movie life, Steve?
It's slow. I haven't seen anything. I got to get out tonight for the film board to see that. But no, it's just been a busy week at work and everything. I haven't had a chance to see anything. There's nothing to talk about. I got nada. I got zero.
Well,
what about you?
Okay, it's not that much better.
Exactly. Well, that's what I expected.
It's just we're in the middle of this James Dean thing. And so I'm watching James Dean movies, and James Dean movies are great. And
all three
of them.
It's not okay. It's not like I'm binging the James Dean catalog. You've got
I'm totally
three movies.
It is
it's a total of what? Maybe 8 hours total.
Oh, are you kidding? No, these are not epic.
I mean, Giant is
you're right. Giant actually.
Right.
But I've never seen Giant, so I'm actually that's the one that was missing in my James Dean catalog. So
see, I'd seen everything except I still haven't seen East of Eden. I saw Rebel Without a Cause in high school. Had a film studies class in high school and saw Rebel Without a Cause, and then it was shortly. Maybe after graduating college, realized I had never gotten around to see Giant, so watch that. So East of Eden's the one that just, I felt like maybe you got to space it out, because if you burn through it all right away, then where are you going to go? You're going to be craving more James Dean.
Well, for people who watch things in series, James Dean's is low hanging fruit. That's where you start.
Well,
knock out 3 movies and feel like a really satisfyingly solid completionist.
Yeah.
So I need to get on Giant, but it's daunting. It's daunting. I need to space it out. Last night, let's see, family movie night was Wonder, which is now out for digital.
Oh, okay. Rated K for Kleenex.
That's a tough one, man. That is a tough one. But I'll tell you, and so many people, I think, really celebrated that movie for the kids, and I think the kids did a great job. Right? I mean, obviously, to see how far what's his name has come since Room, which is. He's just such a great actor, and I'm really worried about him. What's his name? Why can't I think of his name, Steve?
You're really thrilled with what's his name, but concerned about.
I'm super concerned with what's his name because he's one of those.
Wait, I don't know who you're talking about now.
Come on, the kid with the face.
Luke Wilson. Owen Wilson. Oh, Jacob.
Yes, Owen Wilson, the kid with the face. Right. No, yes.
He does have a face.
Jacob Tremblay, yes. You just want him to be a satisfyingly talented and good actor all the way through his career, and hope that, Hollywood doesn't destroy him because...
Hope that's not a Haley Joel Osment situation.
God, no kidding. But we really enjoyed that movie, and I was commenting to Kira last night, like what a wonderful time we live in, where there are so many young actors who are so talented, right? They're just so good. Because I just finished, I told you season 2 of Stranger Things. Did I tell you that? I finished it.
Oh, right.
I was really satisfied with that. I'm just going to, I read about people who were upset with the second season. They didn't like it as much. I loved it. I had a wonderful time. And the last 2 episodes were just great. And so all of those kids are exceptionally talented. Oh, now Andy's texting us. Here he is. Here he is. Welcome to the show, Andy. You can't hear him.
Here.
Hello?
It's the ghost of Andy.
Nope. No Andy. There's no Andy.
Can't get to the microphone. No, he's in the. His presence is here. He just can't interact with us.
I feel his presence. I no longer feel his presence.
Oh.
I now feel Nick
morning,
Langdon's
Langdon.
presence. I feel Andy now.
We've got multiple hemispheres. We've got Stephen Smart. We've got Nick.
Andy, you sound terrible.
Andy, it's a full room. You're disappointing your global audience.
Sorry. What's going on?
Andy, you sound awful. Was the movie that bad last night? Oh, now he's gone again.
He sounds hungover. I can't tell. Is it the bad connection that's laggy, or is he just
Andy?
This is one for the books.
We've never had quite this much.
Great. We actually have subscribers here listening. Like, yeah, we're gonna listen to this engaging conversation.
Nope, you'll get none of that. Okay, so anyway, while Andy figures out his stuff, I just really love these kids, and I can't wait to see what happens to them. And I hope they don't end up in real life Breaking Bad, like Andy.
So I'm going to take that point and I'm going to run with it to my trailer. Because I'm going to keep this show moving along. But, Andy, you do what you need to do, but I'm going to keep this show on the rails. And speaking of young actors that have great potential and that are on everybody's radar, I'm going to talk about a film called Hot Summer Nights, which is, first off, A24 rule.
Yep.
So I got that. So you got no right to complain.
I want you to have this.
About that.
Oh, hi, Andy. Hi.
Yep. Okay. We're already in the middle of our trailer, so there we go. I'm playing my A24 rule, but we're talking about Hot Summer Nights, and Timothy Chalamet has been just like in everything. He's like a solid year for this kid who, when I first saw Lady Bird, I was like, oh, okay, and then he just keeps showing up in things. So another young actor that to keep your eye on. And I think he's making some smart choices in the films that he's in. Hot Summer Nights is, again, I'm going to claim this one because it's about teenagers. And so that's Steve's rule for trailers. If it's got teenagers in it, that's going to be his trailer.
With an ironically satisfying connection to Breaking Bad, too. I mean, come on.
Yes, there we go. Yes, he's shipped off to stay with his aunt for the summer and somehow finds himself running like a huge drug ring to impress a girl. But this has... Which sounds like a ridiculous comedy, but it's not. But it's, to me, again, one of these films that tackles very seriously being a teenager, trying to impress a girl, all the things that teens are confronted with. And it just looks like a really compelling story of heightened drama, but still within that teen world. So I think stakes get high, but when you're running a drug ring, once you get into like it's adults, then you've got like the FBI and all this. Seems like small town. Here's the local drug dealer, and he wants to help him out because he could use the extra money, and then things sort of escalate from there. So to me, very compelling story with a small focus, interesting characters, and I'm really looking forward. And this is from first-time writer-director Elijah Bynum. So this looks like a really strong effort right out of the gate for him as well. This is scheduled to be released on June 28th, 2018. So right there in the middle of summer, when you're sick and tired of all the loud, exploding fake things, fighting fake things, here's something to sit down and have. Looks like a good time and an entertaining time. And maybe something a little bit more serious to engage with for your summer movie.
Well, I got to tell you, I was very excited to see this trailer, and I had completely skipped it. I don't know why. It's probably because I saw teens in the still image that looked like they were about to kiss, and I thought, well, that's Steve. So I didn't even watch the trailer until I saw that you picked it. But
what does that say? He's pigeonholed himself.
He really has. No, this is all on Steve. But I was very excited to see a couple of performers in here. William Fichtner, of course, is fantastic, and in everything he's on the he's on my list, right? Those sort of favorite character.
He's like the next. He's taking like the Christopher Walken route. If there's some weird creepy guy, he's got that
exactly. And then Thomas Jane, who is a remarkably busy actor for a guy that being one of those faces. I feel like he is transitioning from being one of the faces that I just recognize to being an actor that I recognize and look forward to seeing after his incredible performance in The Expanse. And I'm telling you guys, you got to dig into that show. It's fantastic, and he is in it and wonderful. So I was very excited to see this trailer, and I think it's beyond being a quintessential Steve pick. It looks like a great movie.
It has a fantastic. I mean, the look of it is just so sharp and so crisp. Like watching the trailer, I'm like, this is a first time director. I mean, maybe he's done commercials. I don't know what his backstory is, but I mean, there's such amazing visuals throughout the trailer that it's like in a very assured hand. So it looks like just a really exciting project that Elijah is bringing to us, and the characters look interesting. Everything about it looks interesting, like you guys were saying. The cast. I mean, I guess it was just mostly just the look of the whole thing that just struck me. You know, he's really playing to capture this sense of the 80s. It's kind of got that. It's not quite a sepia tone, but there's definitely been a kind of a color tone applied to it that gives it that kind of an older feel and everything. But I mean, even looking at the poster, I mean, everything about it just has a really cool vibe that he's capturing from then. So I'm excited about this one.
I'm right with you on the poster too. The typography, I mean, it looks like, you know, it might as well say Miami Vice. Like, it looks great. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Totally.
Yes.
It looks like a video box cover too, you know?
So I'm bringing my A game to start things off. You guys follow it up.
Andy, I would like to cede my position, even though you came in hot. If you're ready, I think you should go next.
Well, my trailer is, I saw this trailer. I actually saw, it was in an article, and it was talking about Jim Carrey's next project. And I'm like, Jim Carrey's next project? That's exciting. And so I checked it out, and it was this really surprising looking trailer that just completely took me aback, because it's Jim Carrey, which we haven't seen in a number of years in a project. In this film that looks like something that would be, something that David Fincher would be doing. It's this very kind of dark crime story. And it's not something I would expect to see Jim Carrey in. It's exciting to see Jim Carrey doing stuff like this. And it makes me thrilled because I've always kind of felt like he's one of those actors who has really gone down the hard comedy route, but I think there's a lot more to him. And I think he's shown that a number of times in projects like Man on the Moon. But here it's like, there's just nothing funny about this. This guy who is this businessman trying to find clues of this murder. And he starts connecting pieces, thinking that this author is the one who's committing the crimes. And the author is writing books that eerily have similar things going on in them. And seeing Jim Carrey play in this trailer opposite Martin, I never know how to say his last name, Sokas.
Sure.
Seeing the two of them kind of playing off of each other in the trailer is exciting. And so it just got me thrilled. And then the other weird thing about the trailer is it's like supposed to be in, Poland or somewhere. And because he's got this accent. So it's just everything about this trailer really threw me for a loop, because it's just nothing that I was expecting to see coming out. So that's my pick. What do you guys think of this one?
Well, I'm very excited about it because, I just love how Jim Carrey's look is changing as he's sort of weathering with age. And I just find him so compelling. He rocks the beard.
Oh yes,
frankly, as a beard wearing gentleman myself, I have to tell you, my beard is now bushy enough that I can see it in my peripheral vision, and I wake up with decidedly strong bed face. So I really appreciate Jim Carrey's beard. And two comments that just struck me as funny. His voice is not weathering the way his face is. He still sounds really young to me, and so look at him.
That's the Winona Ryder factor.
Right. And so I get a little bit of a chuckle because you expect something low and gruff, and you come out with, "Hey, it's me, I'm Jim Carrey." And the other thing that bugs me is about this trailer is actually the poster. What is it with reversing the R? Like, why is the dark crime DA? We don't know how to typeset ours. Is that like, do we not get the joke yet? I just find that ridiculous graphic design choice, and I think it detracts from the movie. I don't care if it's supposed to be some sort of a ridiculous like homage to Cyrillic. Yeah, no, I definitely carve off some from the art design. So come on, people. Just give it a break with the flipping the letters. It's totally played. But I think the movie looks really good. So
I'm intrigued because it's because of the writer David Grand. So this is based on an article he wrote for the New Yorker. He had also written the book The Lost City of Z, which the movie was entertaining and I had a good time with that. But the book is very, very engaging, interesting. A lot of history to that. I really liked his style of that novel. So now I'm torn between. Do I wait to see Dark Crimes and then read the article, or to read the article that it's based on? Because from watching the trailer, I just thought, oh, this is somebody's putting together another one of these psychological thrillers. It's going to have some weird twists and it's going to go off the rails at the end. But knowing this is in fact based on a true story and in the article there, it's moved up a few notches on my interest list because there's some guiding boundaries to this story that I hope it's not going to just spool out into the craziness of, oh, the R is backwards because it's actually his, we get into, it's an alternate version of himself or some weird supernatural psychological
Oh, God,
thing.
Steve, if that happens, I'm standing up. I am leaving if that happens. Are you kidding?
Oh, yeah. You and your beard. And I think what you should do is you should stand up to your best Jim Carrey impersonation on your way out.
But it'll be the mask.
To really
That's the only one I've got.
Yes. But I am much more interested in this from learning a little bit more about the story than the trailer itself gave me, because it seemed to be doing nothing much new, but knowing that it's grounded in sort of a true story, I think gives it a little bit more substance. So I'm interested.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, it's the Jim Carrey factor that really draws me into this trailer, because I mean, otherwise the story doesn't stand out as too different. But I'm still excited. I'm excited to see what he's going to do here. And the interesting thing about this is this movie has been around for years now. It played at in Poland at the Warsaw Film Festival back in October of 2016. And I'm not exactly sure why it's taken so long. It hasn't been in a festival circuit or anything. It's just been, I guess, sitting on a shelf or looking for distribution or something. Because the next air date is when it's released here in the U.S., May 11th. So who knows? Maybe that's a bad sign.
Oh, great!
But it is 7.0.
Just when I get excited.
7 stars on IMDb. So
it would be 7.5 without that stupid R.
It ruined it. Yeah.
But still, easily clears the 6.0 rule on stars. So I think it's going to be worth seeing. And yeah, I'm with you. I think it looks good. And with that, I would like to get to the most sort of sobering and serious trailer of the morning. I think that it is settled science that, according to our dear friend Tommy, sharks are just wet murder machines. And so what could be better than a normal-sized wet murder machine than The Meg? Director John Turteltaub is back with The Meg, starring Jason Statham, Rainn Wilson, and a giant shark that is the size of a 787. And I don't know why, you guys. I don't know why. I'm really excited for this movie. Why is it that this movie and this trailer excite me and Sharknado 5 doesn't? I can't tell you. But I think it starts with the first major visual in this thing with a 70-foot shark shows up on this. Of course, they're in an underwater research facility of the future. And the shark shows up and sticks its mouth around one of the glass domes with the little girl standing there. I thought that was an awesome visual. And that hooked me for some. I'm there. I know I'm a simpleton with these kinds of things. I get it. I get it. And, I liked Isle of Dogs too, whatever. But look, this is a giant shark. and I'm excited about it. And I feel a little guilty because I haven't even seen the movie. But I also really like the National Treasure movies. Come on. Phenomenon? I didn't like that all so much. Sorcerer's Apprentice? Yeah, I know. I didn't like that either. But National Treasure movies and The Meg, those are going to be my Those are going to be in the catalog of John Turteltaub efforts, and I'm excited about that.
Have you read the book? Because I know you're one that will, voraciously consume these pulpy novels. So I don't know if this is something that's on your shelf. You've already,
Steve,
is it a read that you've gone through?
I'm going to tell you, I saw the trailer and immediately got the Kindle version of this book. I have not read it, but it is totally my next read. Yes. And in fact, I'm in the middle of a first-time read of The Stand. I've never read The Stand before, but I am seriously considering stopping that to read the shark book.
No, what?
Yeah.
No, just...
Okay, let me have it. Come on, get it out.
All right.
I get it.
No. That's
no,
fine.
I get it. I want to hear it. Uh-huh.
Yeah. How did you survive the late 80s without reading that? Were you not a Stephen King fan in the late 80s or early 90s?
I was really destroyed by Salem's Lot, and so it took me a long time to get back to to Stephen King stuff. Yeah.
All right.
And then The Shining was after that, and that kind of got me back into it. So anyway, The Meg.
So the first thing I thought of when I saw this trailer was Deep Blue Sea, because it's another one of those people underwater with sharks, and the tone is just all over the place. I don't know if this is playing it as the serious, like, action thriller, we're going to scare you type of thing within the PG-13 realm. But there's moments that I just thought are so ridiculous. Is this a movie that is not taking itself seriously because it knows what it is? That it is about a ridiculously enormous shark, and Jason Statham, is he going to be like punching this shark from a shark cage underwater or something?
That would seal
it. Is. So I'm intrigued because I don't know how seriously this film is taking itself. That's what's of greatest interest to me about this. And then the other part that was, I think, very notable from watching the trailer is this clearly has a lot of foreign money into it. So this is an interesting sort of multinational effort at this. So I'm wondering about how this is going to play globally, if this is going to do okay here in the States and just be just blockbuster elsewhere.
That's what struck me about it, is the that international vibe that it had here. Is that I watched the trailer and I'm like, interesting. This is really pushing for foreign box office. It was. I mean, I shouldn't be really surprised. You see that quite a bit, but this one, it just was laying it all out there for you. And it just was like, hey, we're going to make a lot of money and it's going to sell all over the world with this one. So, it doesn't matter if it's about a giant prehistoric shark and Jason Statham's going to punch it through a shark tank because it's going to make the money back. And the investors are going to be happy about that. So I can see why a movie like this would get made. And I applaud them, I guess, for the smarts.
I applaud them, I guess. That's going to be the blurb on the poster.
for going, you know what? Let's put everybody in here from all different corners of the world so that we can really find easier ways to get into those markets. So
it's funny, like the poster cracks me up because at least the poster I'm looking at. And first of all, we should say as a note, as far as we know, there are no letters that are reversed on this poster. You could make a case that maybe the M is reversed.
I think the E is actually upside down.
The E is upside down. Yeah, right. But it looks like it's one of those things where the shark is so big that it is hard to be scared of it because
right.
Like it's just going to swallow the people. Like there's going to be no horror and terror of the biting and the chewing because it will just absorb them. It's so big and you'll never even get to know.
Then it's like the Sarlacc pit. You're stuck in it, right. Like slowly being digested.
Yeah. That's what it is. This is the floating Sarlacc. Great connection.
And the tagline.
Maybe this is what the Sarlacc looks like if you dig it out of the desert.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is where all the
tagline is pleased to eat you. And again, so I'm like, this can't be serious. This cannot be serious. This is, they're marketing it as like action. I'm going to get in there and it's going to be Sharknado crazy ridiculous. I just have this feeling that it's going to go off the rails early. Because pleased to eat you, you cannot.
What was it? What was the tag in the trailer? Something about chomp. It chomps something. Steve, if I can see this movie in IMAX Atmos 4D, I will see this movie in IMAX Atmos. If there's a 5D, I will see it. In
Smell-o-vision.
Let's bring it back. Feel around, Smell-o-vision, the Tingler. I'm there.
The Tingler.
your seat will pummel you in the back as Jason Statham is just rocking that
I want to be
shark with his
just
punches
gently
and kicks.
electrocuted at random intervals.
It needs to be. It needs to be like the experiences like in Disneyland, like the Muppet Vision, where at key moments, like the audience gets sprayed, so they can just be spraying you with with shark
salt
saliva.
water and saliva. Yeah. Well, all I have to say for our conversation this morning is you're welcome. And now I think we should move on to the list.
When is yours opening, though?
I don't care. It's
I don't care.
not soon
Doesn't
enough.
matter.
Not soon enough. August 10th in the U.S. It looks like it's August 9th and 10th kind of rollout. We've got, let's see, Australia is August 30th, but Sweden gets it on the 17th and the U.K. on the 10th.
What's the rating?
With us,
does it say?
US. It says for Pete. That's all it says. PG-13. PG-13. So, yes, I'll take my kids.
I managed to get my daughter to watch Jaws with me. I'm wondering. Will she sit through this?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Uh-huh. She's because she's what? What is she now? She's close.
She's 11 and a half.
And a half. That's the important part.
Yeah.
Well, we've been debating, should we take her to a quiet place? We haven't quite settled on that yet.
Oh my gosh.
We've talked about this. I just haven't made it out yet.
You're free to just, scar your child as you wish. That's fine.
Well, she's the one who's like, she's in heavy debates with herself if she wants to go to a scary movie or not.
I mean, because she'll be like the coolest kid in whatever 5th or 6th grade. She comes back like, yeah, my parents took me to the quiet place. Be like, oh, you went to the scary movie.
Yeah, because I had friends when I was that age who went to see Cujo and things like that. I didn't get to go, but they did.
Yeah, and how did they turn out?
They're in jail.
Scarred individuals. They're all in prison.
So, Andy, you make whatever decision you need to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. The list. Andy, would you set us up, please?
So, yes, this week on the show, we were talking about East of Eden, the adaptation of John Steinbeck's novel starring James Dean. And because of the great Cain and Abel story of two rival brothers in the film, we decided to do lists of rival brothers. So here we are.
All right. Rival brothers. This was one of those when we thought of the list, I couldn't think of any. And when I started researching it, there are a lot of the brother movies.
Yes.
Who would like to go first? Steve, I think we'll keep with the A24 rule. Is there a transitive property of the A24 rule?
I was like, I don't think I have an A24 film on my
No, but
do we need to get into
you bring
that?
A24, you get to
Oh my
start and
gosh.
stop all conversations. You could just hang up whenever you want.
all right.
When you're done, you get
Okay.
no
You can show up
judgment.
late?
You
Oh,
can
wait.
oh no.
No,
No.
you can't.
You're borrowing against future A24 trailers. That's what
right.
you're doing, Andy.
I started it, so I it's like I've grandfathered myself
the
into
Godfather
No,
of the A24 rule.
You've cashed in those chips, and now you're in debt.
Oh,
after
ouch.
this morning, yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with a big steal, probably, because I'm going to start with a great film that I have not seen in over a decade and really need to see again, and that's 2002's Adaptation. So you have siblings that are twins, probably one of the last really good performances from Nicolas Cage as twin brothers. One is struggling to write a screenplay. The other is his ridiculous counterpart. So you've got Charlie Kaufman and Donald Kaufman as quarreling siblings in 2002's Adaptation, directed by Spike Jonze. If you have not seen this movie, what's wrong with you? Just stop listening to this podcast. Go watch it now, because watching the trailer, I had forgotten how amazing this film is. You've got a cast that is unbelievable. Nicolas Cage, Tilda Swinton, Meryl Streep, Chris Cooper. Oh my gosh, such a great film.
It is an
That's a great one,
exceptional film.
and I doubt you're stealing it because we've talked about it on the show before.
Yeah.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
Long time
All right.
ago, though.
It was one of our
Okay.
in our first 6 months.
was
Yeah.
it? Oh,
And Charlie
that doesn't
Kaufman's
count.
first.
That wasn't.
Yeah.
That wasn't the next reel. That's when it was that other time.
That's right. It was
That's
movies
the role
we
I was
liked.
taken by.
It turns out we
It was
like
movies
this one.
we like that. Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
Okay, well, that's a great pick all the same, and absolutely Adaptation. Get it on the list, Andy.
Well, for my first choice, I'm going big and I'm going grand, and I'm going with a movie from the same year, actually, Steve. This is a film that's smack dab in the middle of a trilogy, but it has a fantastic brother rivalry in it. Notably in the extended version, it is, of course, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
Oh, that's a steal.
And we have Boromir and Faramir. And the vying for the father's love, the crazy Denethor. And the relationship between these two brothers is just fantastic. And the way that especially it's extended in the longer version of the film really just gives a lot of the sense of kind of this relationship between these two brothers, and how Boromir was the one who received all the love from the father, and Faramir is the one who is left behind after Boromir dies. And watching this relationship and just the way that the two brothers play for father's love, it's so well done. And seeing how Faramir becomes a key player later in the series is just it's a wonderful thing. So that's my first pick, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
I don't know why I thought that one would be somehow immune to steal. Like, I put it on my list and I thought there's no way they're going to remember like this. Movie, it was a long time ago. It's not something we talk about too often, other than Tommy hating throwing fake things at fake things. Whatever. All right. Well, then I'll go with my first pick. I got to move some things around a little bit. I am going to open the bidding with Vale and Revok and the Brothers Duel. I'm going to suck your brain dry in Scanners. Scanners, let's see, when was it? 1981, David Cronenberg film. I did not actually like this movie, but for some reason I really like the way it ends, and I think there is there's a... Man, guys, his eyeballs explode. But there's a fun sort of body switching gig at the end that I always found really satisfying. So most of the movie I don't like. Michael Ironside I adore, and so it's got a couple of elements in there that really keep it on my list. Scanners, 1981.
Great pick.
Haven't seen it, and I know I think Nick Langdon might kill me for that one. I think that's one of his. As I recall, I think in Discord, I recall him having great things to say about that film. So he's going to get on a plane from over here,
and he's going to make you watch it.
You know what? It's been on my list for a long time.
Yeah,
but it's just one of those where I thought, okay, is it now past that age of if I come to this new, is it going to appear? If things been derived from it, the effects, everything were so far distant from it. Is it one that I needed to see at that point? And then there's the connection you establish with a film that even though it's aged, you still see that film for as it was the first time you saw it. Now coming to it as a new viewer, will that thing hold up the way that it has for people that viewed it 20 or so 30 years ago? I think those are all really great questions, and I feel like I think you're right. I mean, the connection that I have to it is because of the people that are in it that you see that have cropped up elsewhere, and you get to see sort of where they came from. The effects are terrible. I mean, they're straight up terrible. But man, they stick around. Like you'll think about them for a while, and of course, it's got some really iconic effect sequences that are referred to and imitated much better in other movies that have come since. So I think it's worth seeing just in terms of, again, being a completionist, and it's so much better than Videodrome. Please. Okay.
Maybe that was just for Nick Langdon, because I think he likes Videodrome.
With equally compelling imagery that sticks with you. Watching him stick his head into the TVs.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Steve.
Because I am outnumbered in my house 3-1 when it comes to gender, I have to have some equality on our list. So I'm going to go with sibling rivalry between sisters with an amazing film. It actually is the last of Jonathan Demme's films that I have seen. I know he's done a couple since. He did Rachel Getting Married in 2008 with just a stellar performance from Anne Hathaway as I think she's in rehab, and she comes out to the family for her sister's wedding, and just the family dynamics and the tension between the two sisters, between the good daughter and sort of the black sheep in the family. And you've got Jonathan Demme directing. You have Bill Irwin as the father in this, and apparently, according to IMDb, Sebastian Stan is in it as a waiter. So there's a little, see if you can spot the Winter Soldier in this Jonathan Demme
You
film.
can tell by the
But
arm.
Exactly. That's not a trade. That's his,
It's
his
his actual
arm.
arm.
But this is one that is just one of those with, I think, in the hands of a different director or a different writer, it's a story that would not work as well. And this is just one that I sat down and watched. It just was moved. It's a really powerful story, and it's one that really gets at that tension between families in a very realistic way, not a melodramatic way. It just works on so many levels.
I haven't seen it.
I hated it.
What? Whoa, 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 whoa,
Sorry.
whoa, 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 whoa,
I-
whoa, whoa, stop. Really? Okay, so here's a little connection to your speakeasy. If you remember the dishwasher scene where they're talking about loading the dishwasher, that scene was actually based on an actual event involving Bob Fosse and Sidney Lumet, because the film is Rachel Getting Married is written by Sidney Lumet's daughter, and so she took a real life event about how to load the dishwasher discussion between her father and Bob Fosse, and that is what that scene is based on.
That's weird. That's a strange pull.
But does it change your opinion on the film, Andy?
It doesn't change my opinion.
No, it doesn't, because Andy just hates things.
No, I agree. There were some great performances in the film. Anne Hathaway, notably, was fantastic. But I don't know. I just really struggled with the vibe of the film, and it was it's kind of in that period when Jonathan Demme was really kind of going lo-fi with kind of the work that he was doing, and
right.
Yes. Not that was really, a big problem for me, but I don't know. It just felt like, I don't know. I just couldn't get into the story. I couldn't get into it. And it really, I don't know, just hit me the wrong way. And maybe I just watched it on a bad day or something, but yeah, I just didn't like it at all. I'm sorry.
No, you don't need to apologize for having an opinion. You don't have to apologize for being wrong. No, I think there's a certain, no, I agree. There's a certain style to this film. And I think the other thing that I found very interesting about this production is I'm also a fan of the musician Robin Hitchcock. And so he was involved, I think, in either the scoring of the movie or overseeing the music for this. And he's just a very odd and quirky character. And so there were lots of things that just I really connected to, I think, in this story. And I think there's, you're either going to connect this film or you may not.
Yeah.
So I'd say if you do, it can be a really rewarding experience. And yeah, you're welcome to dislike it.
Welcome to be wrong.
They're yeah, exactly. Because there are many people that just do not understand why I absolutely hate Almost Famous. So
I know.
again,
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Don't apologize for being wrong. We already get it. All right, Andy, what's your next one?
I like the direction you're going there, because I think that I may be pulling the same thing here in a minute. I'm not going to jump into it just yet, but I might be going down that road, because the next one that I want to talk about is, I don't know if it just seemed like, the perfectly obvious choice considering our series, but it certainly fits brilliantly. And it's the film that Elia Kazan did right before East of Eden. It's the fantastic On the Waterfront, with Marlon Brando, Carl Malden, Lee J. Cobb, Rod Steiger, and of course Eva Marie Saint in her film debut. This film is just a powerhouse. It's just something that really hits me every time I watch it. Watching Terry kind of going through this whole situation, dealing with the mob and the priest and the girl and his brother and everything. It's a beautifully told story, as the mob is kind of has their grip on the waterfront, and watching them kind of controlling everything, and how it ends up affecting Terry as Edie's brother gets killed, and Terry is kind of partly he was used as a pawn in all of that, and then as his brother, because Terry becomes increasingly set on testifying against the mob headed by Lee J. Cobb. Lee J. Cobb sends Terry's brother, who works for him, to shut him up, and maybe kill him if he's not going to shut up. And then, of course, it leads to one of the most brilliant film scenes ever when Marlon Brando's in the backseat of the car talking to Rod Steiger. He's like, I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am. Let's face it. It was you, Charlie. And that conversation and just everything kind of as it spills out after that is just a brilliant bit of cinema. So that's my next choice.
How have you two not talked about that on the main show?
I don't know.
That is a good question.
That is one that's just would be. There's so many series you could do around that. It's another one I saw in my film studies class in high school that just I saw that and thought, wow, this is just such a just masterpiece. So yeah, I'm always amazed at people that call themselves, film fans, and they're, scholarly film, people that don't just go to like popcorn movies, but really enjoy the art of film that have not seen On the Waterfront. Because to me, that is just one of those top tier films that you need to have seen. It's an important film. Capital IF, important film.
Well, I agree. And we have had this series floating around, movies set on waterfronts, and that fits so well. I think we should just knock that off.
Why haven't we gotten to that one yet?
There's always something else that just kind of sneaks in there, but I think there's some rich depths to plumb. No, I agree. This is a great pick. I actually now regret that I don't have that one as a steal. It fits too naturally. So nice one. My final pick, I actually was going to kick this down the road.
It's your second pick, right?
Exactly. My second pick next to my final pick. I was going to kick it down the road, but then Steve picked a movie that we've already talked about on the show. And I thought maybe it's okay that I pick a movie that I think has already been picked as a pick in the list in the past, but I have to pick it because of the great scene between the wonderful when the great Viggo Mortensen goes to his brother and says, I come to make peace. Is there anything I can do? What can I do? There's one thing you can do, Richie. You could die. It is the brothers' face-off in a history of violence. And I again, that goes into some actual weird action in that sequence. And then William Hurt says, how could you F that up? And kicks a dead guy and shoots him in the chest again, which is a little funky. Yeah. But I just really enjoy that movie. And I'm always impressed by those two guys on screen as brothers seeking retribution.
You haven't done that on the main show? I thought there was a Cronenberg series or something where you guys talked about that. Maybe it just showed up on a list and we discussed that film.
I think it's been on the list a couple times.
Maybe it has. It's got so many things to it's clearly
again
many
another
vectors.
One that we need to put on a list somewhere with the 500 other films that you guys need to get to.
If anything, we need to talk about it on the main show just so we will have to stop picking it for our lists. Like there's
it's just oh yeah, that one that's great pick. Great pick. So it leaves me sort of spinning between a couple options here of where I want to go with this, because I've got brothers, I've got sisters, and then I've got sort of a mixed family to choose from here. So I'm going to go with, I'm going to keep with, I think, the one that fits in best with the other two between adaptation and Rachel getting married. The other one that I think fits in with that to make a really quirky trilogy would be Royal Tenenbaums. So you've got the three sort of super, children and the quirky family and the dynamics between that. So that's my third pick for my oddball family rivalry is Royal Tenenbaums. Another one that I'm just reminded, I love that film, but have not seen it in a long time. Time to revisit that one again, because again, just watching the trailer to refresh my memory about the film made me so much want to see that again. And I think I probably just need to do a Wes Anderson binge series, because it's just been, there's too many that I've missed, and so many of the other ones that I just enjoy so much.
He's a director who I feel has found a direction for his films and has gone deeper and deeper down that road as he continues his career. They seem to get quirkier and quirkier and quirkier and deeper into this world of his brain. This one is I one of my favorites. I didn't pick it because I was like, it's mostly a rivalry with the father, but I totally think it's still fair to put on this list because there's just so many rivalries going on. I love the movie. I always fluctuate between this and Rushmore as my favorite of his. I feel like whichever one I watch most recently ends up being at the top of the list. I think that they're just both stellar, and Gene Hackman in this one is brilliant. But so are all the kids, the people playing the siblings. It's a fantastic cast here.
It's a funny movie. He's actually a funny director and writer for me because the gap between my feelings of the movies that I like of his and the movies, there are two movies that I really didn't like, and very few in between. This is one that I actually really like a lot. And how he went from Rushmore and Tenenbaums to Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, which I detest. Like, I was really frustrated. And Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I hated. Like those, I don't know how he can swing so far for me when he should be like right in the corner pocket. Like he's my kind of writer and director, my kind of humor. And so, but this is definitely high on the list. So wacky, and I love it.
Yeah, great choice.
That leaves you, Andy.
For my final pick, I'm also I have so many films with brothers on my list, but I want to throw in one with sisters just because Steve did, and I want to be like Steve when I grow up. My final pick is a Curtis Hanson film from 2005 called In Her Shoes that I don't think enough people saw. I think a lot of people saw the poster and the trailer and thought, oh, it just looks like a chick flick. It looks like something that's appealing to the Sex and the City crowd. I don't know, what people were thinking, but it didn't do that well at the box office, despite the fact that I think it was relatively received well from the critics. It's just a really great story and an honest story is what I really liked about it, about these two sisters played by Cameron Diaz and Toni Collette, as they're just kind of growing up, dealing with kind of the way that they've been the way they've been raised, because Rose, played by Toni Collette, is much more straight-laced. She's a lawyer, and her sister Cameron Diaz is kind of the free spirit who can't hold a job and an emotional mess. And it's just kind of about this relationship that the two of them have as they end up heading down to stay with their grandmother, played by Shirley MacLaine, as after Cameron Diaz kind of moves in with her. And it's just it's a really great character piece, and something that I think Curtis Hanson often, I think he's one of those directors who always was thought of as kind of a director for hire type of director when you look at the list of projects that he was doing. But after LA Confidential, I just felt like he really hit a fantastic stride with that and Wonder Boys, which is one of my favorite films, and then 8 Mile, and then this one. And it's just a great stretch of films. And again, I just don't think enough people have seen or talked about In Her Shoes. So that's my final pick.
I have not seen or talked about it. I've never even heard of it. Is that weird? And I love Curtis
We need
Hanson.
to do a Curtis Hanson series and hit it, because it's really a great movie.
Oh no, yeah, Pete, you need to see this. This is one that to me would be, a decade or so ago would have been like prime trailer rewind stuff for JJ and I, because it's one that just gets overlooked and gets lost in the shuffle and really is worth checking out, because it's one they don't know how to market. And you look at the poster and you're like, well, what is this? But Susanna Grant wrote it. Her prior credit to this was Aaron Brockovich. It's a really great story. As soon as Andy mentioned this, I thought, oh my gosh, of course. How could I have missed this on my list? Because it's one that I remember seeing and thinking, how are people not seeing this?
Yeah.
So that's your homework. Pete.
Absolutely.
Yep. After In the Name of the Father.
I didn't. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, my final pick is a little bit more frivolous, perhaps, but it is still one that delights me. And I don't know, maybe controversial. I guess it comes from director Rob Marshall, but most important, it comes from scorer, composer Stephen Sondheim. It is Into the Woods, and I make this my pick because of the fantastic song between Cinderella's prince and Rapunzel's prince, who are brothers, singing, competing against one another about whose agony is greater, is stronger between their two loves.
So
and
good.
it is one of the best songs. It is certainly it is one of the highlights of comedy in a strong and funny and delightful musical. We love it around these parts. And it's one of those movies that the entire cast comes out and you are shocked every time one of them opens their mouths that those people can really sing. In this case, Rapunzel's prince is Billy Magnuson and Cinderella's prince is Chris Pine, and they're great. Like, they sound great and they can handle Sondheim, and so more power to them. So I love this one, and I'm so glad it wasn't a steal.
Such a great choice. That is absolutely a film that's on all the time in our house too. The kids just love it, both of them. Which is great. I love that they've been drawn into Sondheim at such a young age, so that I'm just waiting for the day when I can introduce some
Demon
of the
Barber of Fleet Street.
Right. I've been listening to that music lately and singing the songs, and my daughter's just like, "What is that song from?" And I'm like, "It's musical I probably shouldn't show you yet."
Oh gosh. Yes.
Yeah, that was that. I remember introducing my oldest one now to that one, and it's unfortunately so catchy. It's so catchy.
Yes.
And then you also have to think about what it's about. So that's a great pick. So Into the Woods 2014, that wraps up our list of, now it's sibling versus sibling because of all the flagrant cheating that went on today. But a great list of movies that should be on the list. What are we going to do this week? And so I'm not going to be here next week, so it's up to you guys.
I think that it needs to be a list that is going to be perfect for Steve. It is going to just fit right in with him. I think teenage angst films.
There we go.
Are there any movies left to pick? Are there?
Right.
Oh, I've got a shelf that I will bring.
I think that's great. Teenage angst. Steve, do you have any comment? Because it's the Steve Sarmento Memorial List.
About memorial.
I guess
list.
I better be here for that, or should I just referee that list and comment from the side? So I'm assuming you're doing Rebel Without a Cause.
Yes, that is our next. Sorry,
okay.
I should have said yes, but James Dean's next film was Rebel Without a Cause, which is what we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to getting started. It's going to be hard to knock that down to 3. So that's going to be tough for me. I may have to do separate lists.
Oh wow!
I may.
Lists
and now
with
for
sublist.
Sublist A7.
Yes, exactly. I'll do a list for Pete since he's not here. So I'll do my list, and then I'll do a.
This is Pete's. This
Perfect.
is my interpretation of what Pete's list would be.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You don't have to go very far. I think that'll be good.
Well, I'll just say that if you can't find a way to work the Meg into it, then it's not worth doing.
Well, see, if I did a list for Pete, I'd have to figure out how to bring a Woody Allen into
yes,
that. It's just not something I'm comfortable
That shouldn't
doing.
be very difficult. Woody
Teenagers and
Allen.
Woody Allen don't mix very well at all. No.
Woody Allen's just an old child anyway. Come on.
God. Oh.
I can't wait to well, let's just say it. I can't wait to edit that show. So well done, guys. What do you have on tap for this week?
I hope to finally see A Quiet Place if I manage to. That's on the list. But with the kids, they've been anxious to go see Rampage. Between that and actually, if they had their druthers, it would be Sherlock Gnomes, and I'm doing everything in my power to keep that from happening.
Yeah, exert your will while you still can.
I'm like, that's a good rental. Let's rent that one.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, my kids want to get out to see Isle of Dogs, so it's just a matter of coordinating schedules with all their activities to see when we might be able to fit that one in, because that's high on my list to see. So if I've got to get out and see Beirut today, so we can talk about that later tonight, and then Isle of Dogs is up there high on the list of if I can get out there sometime this weekend.
I have to say, I went and saw Beirut last night, and I used my movie pass for the first time.
Oh.
And I have to say, how nice was that? I just walk up and I check in and I give them my card and he gives me a ticket. I'm like, this was great. Not a single dollar came out of my pocket except for the $10.
$10 that you actually paid.
Movie pass, but still.
But
nice.
you
Very
just need to see. That's fantastic.
I need to see at least two movies a month to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Good
Or
Lord.
one
how
is
easy
pretty
is
close.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. I'm going to sign up for it. That's it.
Yeah.
Steve, are you a Movie Pass person?
I am not because I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop on that to find out what's really going on.
What? It's run by
You're
the
really
mob?
signing your soul over to Satan.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for something to implode on that because it's one of those. It sounds too good to be true. Is there something? It's great. They're going to get all these people because then I've heard stories of like, oh, people couldn't use their movie pass to go see this film, or they couldn't use it to go see this film. So, I'm still on the fence on that. I'm intrigued by the concept. There are plenty of films I can get out to see, but am I selling my identity and all that information? What's going on with that?
You're all about that. I don't know why it's a problem for you.
Yeah, I don't know there because I feel like there's something more sinister and ominous because it just seems way too good to be true. Of like I can get in to see all these movies, for $10 a month. There's, I guess I don't know how they're doing it.
Well, I did have to sign up for my firstborn child, but other than that,
But
so. No, Pete, I'm there. We can take the leap together. Just jump off. We
Hold
can do
on,
that.
Jack.
be like Joe versus
Hold
Volcano.
Yeah,
The big woo. Steve and Pete
that's
in
right.
the
But
big
then
woo.
it's gonna spit us. It'll spit us back out, and then where are we gonna end up, Pete? I don't know. On a roadside somewhere, missing kidneys.
Missing kidneys with
that's what
no
I'm concerned
theaters
about.
anywhere. So Movie Pass is
Yeah,
totally
exactly.
useless.
Exactly. We're stuck on a desert island with movie
No
pass.
theaters.
No
There you go.
kidneys. That was a strange place to take it. And then we'll have no kidneys.
That's right.
All right.
Because it's all about
This
the
is-
organ harvesting. That's what they're doing with our information.
That's what the nefarious plot of Movie Pass. They're really
Yes.
finding
an
ways
organ
to harvest organs.
Yeah, your
Really.
your
It's
ticket
like
is
the-
marked. You go.
This is
you
like
get your
the
popcorn,
Emperor's
it's poisoned.
plan.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like, in 20 years, they'll have everybody's organs, but it's a long game.
Yes, it is.
Hey, I'm in. You guys have sold me. Let's do this. Unlimited movies, and all it takes is my kidney. I'm totally in for that.
Okay. Well, hey. Okay. See, Andy already gave up his kidney, so he was like, he was.
That's right. Yeah.
It's all part of a bigger
I
scheme.
gave up my kidney, and
part
all
of
I
a
got
bigger
was
scheme.
this lousy Movie Pass. You guys are looking at it wrong.
Exactly.
Hey, this
Yep.
is great. Thank you, everybody, for downloading and listening. Thank you to our Patreon subscribers for supporting this show and allowing us to keep doing this thing. We sure appreciate it. And if you're listening to this, today is Saturday. Go see Beirut. The next film board is coming out on Tuesday. Early release to Patreon subscribers sometime this weekend, where we're going to talk about Beirut and see if it was yet another in the long list of film board failures. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. That's it. Have a great weekend, guys.
See ya.
Hondo.